morning. I'm Pasi from EPID Research, founder of the company. Surprises in drug safety may kill $1 billion investment. Regulators, they demand more evidence about potential risks and drug use in special populations. This requires information from a large number of patients, and this would be too expensive to be collected in a clinical trial setting. So alternative approaches are needed. We at EPID Research, we perform real-life safety studies that are non-interventional. We have access to the population-wide databases in the Nordic countries where each person is uniquely identified and followed from birth to death. These databases contain high-quality longitudinal information from 25 million people. We can link personal medication use to outcome data like hospitalizations, cancers, other diagnoses, pregnancy outcomes, and deaths. Our studies do not require a heavy infrastructure because the data is being collected to already existing databases. This means savings in time, resource, and money. We are a pioneer in this area, and we have worked already with 8 of the top 10 pharmaceutical companies. We are currently running studies in COPD, cancer, diabetes, MS disease, and Parkinson's disease, and these studies have been required by the FDA or EMA. What we are looking from here are partners and clients who would benefit from having access to the European databases. So if you feel a connection here with us, please have a chat with me after this session. Thank you very much.
With David?
Sure, very nice and very important area, and congratulations on already having relationships with a number of pharmaceutical companies. Could you share with us a bit more about how you have arranged for collecting the data, since data analytics are clearly your bread and butter here, in terms of being able to get it from different population sources? Are they all secondary data, or do you also do primary data collection with companies?
Yeah, it's secondary data collection. So what happens is that these data are collected during the normal daily practices in the existing databases. And what we are doing, we are planning studies, study protocols, and with these study protocols we go to these different instances and ask from them access to the data. And for scientific studies, this is allowed, and no patient consent is needed. So we are using those data for our studies.
And if I could just follow up in terms of then how you use it with, is it always with clinical trials, or are you using it across different types of studies? And again, are they individual studies that have been brought to you, or are you generating the specific research questions?
So the research questions, they are actually coming from the requirements from FDA or EMA. So for instance, there might be a specific need to investigate that what's the risk of a type 2 diabetes drug with a potential risk of bladder cancer, for instance. Okay, that's the research question, and then we build the protocol for that. And for this kind of rare event, the approach that is needed, we need to find out as many drug users as possible. And for that, we have to have this population-wide approach. So what we are doing are actually, they are pharmacoepidemiological studies, so not clinical trials. So in clinical trial setting, it would be at least, let's say, 5,000 euros or dollars per patient, even for a simple studies. And our studies, the longest study currently is that we are looking at the final report at 2022. long follow-up.
We have to have shorter answers. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Do we have additional questions here, Bill?
Yeah, so the data you're collecting is presumably publicly available through certain channels.
Exactly.
So how do you, the idea is brilliant. It makes a ton of sense. It sounds to me as though lots of other people are trying to do similar things. How do you create unique IP out of this?
Yeah, what we have been able to do is to make a network, research network with other countries like Karolinska University in Sweden and Aarhus University in Denmark, and then Haukeland University in Norway, and then there are a couple of other research groups in Netherlands and UK. So that's how we built the network, and we are actually the single point of contact to our clients, and we make a contract with them, and then we make the contract with the collaborators. So this is I think this is unique in this area. So.
And they all have a public policy requirement to distribute, to work with other people beyond you, right?
Yeah.
So anybody else who is credible, which is key.
Yeah.
And, okay, so it's just hard work building all this network of relationships and collecting all this data, and you're doing that hard work, and that's really your...
That's one bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
Has anyone raised questions or they are concerned that this data is from certain demographics and population, and does it translate to another population or the world population because of difference of environmental factors, diet, or even genetic factors?
Oh, that's a good question, and that's why we are really looking for partners that, for instance, from here US, we could have a multi-continental study. That part of the data is coming from US, like Kaiser Permanente or some other partner, and then we would have also European population involved.
Could you share with us what the investment would be for then, and where you see the next steps?
Yeah, currently we are not really looking for investment, but contacts. So if you feel a connection here, at some point we are going to have also our own local contacts in these countries, and at that point we would need money to have people in those countries. But this is just to share this idea with you, and maybe you have some connections that could collaborate with us, and later on maybe with you we could have these investment rounds.
Have you talked to the Coriell Institute here? Do you know them?
No.
So they've got an unbelievable database linked to genomic data that is global. To Eddie's point, that's across multiple populations, specifically focused on adverse drug reactions against different genomes. So I think they would be a great partner.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Any additional feedback? No? All right. Thank you.